This is perfect for Miami. Based off all the new information that we have a great idea that Kalow, the youngster, is going to take the major step we were all hoping for. I'm here to break down all of the information that we have on this episode of Heat Digest. But first, remember, if you want to stay up to date on everything Miami Heat, scroll down and click that subscribe button, as nearly 90% of you guys watching this video are not currently subscribed to the channel. We do appreciate all the love and support, so thank you guys for everything. But now let's get to it and break down the breakout we all needed. Now, the conversation about Kalow has not died down all summer long. And the reason being is because he was called out by head coach Eric Spoelstra in really surprising fashion. Wes Goldberg went on to tweet this, which was a clip of Eric Spoelstra discussing what Kalow needs to do to make a change this offseason. And it really came down to the character and overall development in which he needs to put forth in order to improve. And that comes into just being a professional. He needs to improve being a professional. He needs to be the first guy in the gym, the last guy out. And we need to see him play with some incentive and with some want. And the want to get better and the want to dominate the guys that are simply not as good as he is, not as talented as he is. And after this call out, we know what we saw from Kalow. 2 great games from him in the Summer League. And yes, he's playing with other rookies and other sophomores in the league. But if you're going to go out there and showcase any talent, these have to be the games. You can't go out there and lay eggs. You can't go out there and get dominated in the painted area and look like you're not a professional athlete, someone that's not going to be a starting center for this Miami Heat organization. And after that call out, not only did we get 2 monster performances from Kalow in the Summer League, but then we got a few answers that really gave us the idea that he was going to accept the challenge. When asked by Ira Winderman, someone we cite on this channel all the time, why don't we see you play that physical and that aggressive all the time? Where he answered, you will. You will continue to see me playing that aggressive. You will see me being very just intensive and very demanding in the game that I play. I'm not going to go out there and go through the motions. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to try to get better every single day. And when we step onto the basketball floor and play meaningful basketball, I'm going to be there and I'm going to be present. I'm going to be a massive contributor to this Miami Heat organization. And that's exactly what we needed to hear. And that wasn't the only example of it. As, again, another interview, roughly, I believe it's the same exact one where we got this quote from Kalow, but he goes on to elaborate and say that the call out from head coach Eric Spoelstra was used as motivation and that he was going to use it as fuel to continue to progress and continue to be better and better every single day and just try to stack days and become a better professional basketball player. Treat it like a professional job, and he's going to go out there and he's going to be noticed. He's going to be recognized for the work he's putting in and the overall performances that we end up seeing from him. This is exactly what the Miami Heat needed, without a doubt. This is perfect for this Miami Heat organization. This is going to be one of the biggest contributing factors this up-and-coming season. We talked about it ad nauseum when he was drafted, and the idea that was so beautiful in the sense of just the being able to imagine Bam Adebayo being able to move to the power forward position, where we all know is his true position, allowing Kalow to be that defensive figure around the painted area and protect the rim at the level in which we know he can because of the size, the stature, and the overall abilities, but then unlocking the rest of this Heat team. Not only Bam specifically defensively, but then taking some pressure off of Bam offensively, taking some pressure off of Tyler Hero offensively, allowing some of these guards who are trying to do their best out on the wings and trying to send these guys, in the sense of defensively, trying to send their opponent to the middle of the floor or to a baseline where they will run into another helping figure in Bam Adebayo or Kalow, where that's going to make everyone's life so much harder to finish around the rim. This is exactly what we need to see from Kalow, and we just got a brand new quote speaking on how big of a year this really is going to be for Kalow. And it goes on to say, and again, this is from Heat Diehards on Twitter. Again, we cite them all the time. They're one of the best. They go on to say, high praise for Kalow from inside the Miami Heat organization. Quote, big year coming for Ware. He's another guy who won't settle for another or anything other than being great. We're looking forward to watching the leap he's going to take as a second-year guy. Perfect fit with Bam in our versatile front court. Couldn't be happier with how he's coming along. And that's the end of the quote from inside the Miami Heat organization on what they have really witnessed from Kalow up to this point in the year since they drafted him just a year and a half ago in last year's draft. I think this is exactly what the Miami Heat needed to see. He's not only going to unlock them defensively, but as well as offensively, going from that 9.5 points per game and 7.5 rebounds and being a threat defensively to levels above that, maybe 15 to 18 points per game, maybe 8 to 12 rebounds per game, while being a problem on the defensive end. I know it seems far-fetched in the idea of just saying these stats out loud and trying to assume Kalow Ware is going to be able to go out there and get those numbers every single night, but it shouldn't be. Kalow Ware, we've seen him in the regular season last year, and yes, there's a small blemish. He wasn't playing as well as we all hoped for. He's, 22 years old? He was just drafted. It was his first year as a professional athlete playing the game of basketball for a professional living on an NBA stage where he's facing the best guys every single night, regardless of the opponent that you're facing. This is exactly what you need to see. Not only did he have some good moments last year, but showed levels of progression last year, but he went into this offseason, he was challenged by the one and only Eric Spoelstra, who has really more control than anyone in the city of Miami, especially when it comes to the game of basketball. As we all know, he's been around this Heat organization for a long, long time. He's worked his way up from being a video coordinator to being the head coach and one of the best head coaches in the association. He calls out Kalow Ware and he accepts the challenge. He gives us all the right answers in front of the camera. He goes out there on the court and he simply performs at a higher level in which we saw in the first 2 to 3 Summer League games. Progression, progression, progression. It's exactly what this Miami Heat team needed. And with players like Tyler Hero and players like Bam Adebayo and Norman Powell and Andrew Wiggins, Kalow Ware is going to be such a good complementary piece. I feel like, and I keep using that word, and I know it might be getting annoying, but the way this Miami Heat team works and the way this organization is run, it feels like it is a bunch of complementary guys that are going to work in unison that is going to create a substantial and dominant force in the league. And that, yes, it may only be 15 to 18 points per game for Kalow Ware. But then you're going to have Tyler Hero. You're going to have Wiggins. You're going to have Norman Powell. You're going to have Bam Adebayo, as well as the ample amount of talent coming off the bench that is not only going to give you scoring, but is going to give you levels of defense you absolutely need to be able to compete with other high-end teams in this association without a doubt. Now look for Kalow Ware to continue with this strides going forward and continue to break out. The last thing we're going to break down is another former clip that from Udonis Haslem speaking about Kalow Ware, and this was in the Summer League time when Kalow Ware was still active in the Summer League. Quote, Kalow Ware is a guy that averaged 9 and 7 and 36 starting games last year for the Heat. He will be their starting center. Bam will move to his natural position at the 4 as he will be relied upon as well. So, again, Udonis Haslem pointing out the fact that Bam going to the 4 is going to help not only Kalow, but Bam himself and the rest of this Miami Heat organization. And I think with this all happening, with all of them working in unison, is going to be complementary piece next to complementary piece next to complementary piece that is all going to add up to a very, very stout offense and defensive team overall with good help coming off the bench. Overall, the exact words, the exact quotes we needed to see, not only from Kalow Ware as well as the performances we saw from him, but from behind closed doors, from guys like Udonis Haslem, from guys who cover the game as much as they do in Ira Winderman, as well as behind closed doors in the Miami Heat organization, from quotes or from people we don't exactly know yet because we don't know where these quotes exactly came from, but it came from the Miami Heat organization, from behind closed doors. So this is exactly what we were looking for. Let me know down below what your overall expectations are for Kalow Ware going into this up-and-coming season, and I will see you guys on the next episode of Heat Digest.